Welcome back to another episode of the Triangular Compass, where we explore holistic approaches to wellness for veterans, first responders, and their families. In every episode, we shine a light on the alternative healing modalities that support the mind, the body, and the spirit. Today, we're diving into the world of movement meditation, specifically the ancient practices of Qi Gong and Tai Chi. I'm excited to be joined by Shawn Tucker, a physical therapist and holistic health advocate with more than 36 years of experience. Shawn's unique approach blends Western physical therapy and Eastern movement traditions, making these powerful practices accessible to everyone, regardless of age or fitness level. So what exactly is Qi Gong and movement meditation? At their core, these are gentle, mindful exercises that combine slow, deliberate movement, focused breathing, and meditation. Qi Gong, which means cultivating vital energy, is designed to harmonize the body's energy systems, improving circulation, and support both physical and emotional health. Tai Chi, often called moving meditation, uses a series of flowing postures to build balance, strength, and inner calm. In this episode, we'll talk with Shawn about the science and philosophy behind these practices, why they're so effective for stress reduction and resilience, and how you can get started, even if you're brand new to movement meditation. We'll also discuss the real-world impacts that these modalities have had on veterans and first responders and share practical tips that you can use right away. Stick around as we explore how mindful movement can be a powerful tool for healing, connection, and lifelong well-being. This episode starts right now. Hey everybody, welcome back again to another episode of the Triangular Compass. My name is Will Wisner. I'm the Executive Director here at the Grunt Foundation, and joining me today is someone who I have become quite fond of and consider him a great friend and somebody I admire greatly, my good friend Shawn Tucker. And Shawn is a licensed physical therapist, and he is the founder of Emerging Gong LLC. Which is his business, where he works with Taoist
internal arts, right?
Taoist internal arts and everything that entails. So he's particularly known to us by way of teaching our veterans that participate in our Reverent Warriors program and our Triangular Compass program and our integration events as a practitioner and teacher of Qi Gong and Tai Chi, which also happens to be, as I know, the underlying foundational energetic principles of all things Kung Fu. So that is just super cool. In fact, you are the Grand Master of the Hun Yuan Open Heart Qigong Academy. Can you tell us a little bit about what is Qigong, what it is that you do?
Thank you. I got to say, it's smoke and mirrors because I think so highly of you as well and your organization. I'm so glad to be here. Qigong, Qigong, is a term that relates to how does an individual cleanse, circulate, nourish, and then utilize energy. Qigong is a term actually developed by Chinese medicine and Chinese doctors back in the 50s as they started to explore all of these traditional exercises, breathing, acupressure, self-massage, closed eye and open eye visualization, meditation, and even exercise we call silk reeling, Chansa Gong. They came up with a term that they called Qigong. Gong, by the way, is the same term as Kung. So when we say Kung Fu, it would be pronounced Gong Fu. And Gong is interesting. It's got one of these double meanings. It speaks to someone who's developed a high level of skill in something like this warrior has high Gong at being at strategy or execution. And then also Gong is the road to that, right? It's the practice and the honing to develop that high skill. So I practice my Gong in order to achieve high Gong.
I see. And so the Qi part of the word, what is, my understanding is as a novice and not well versed as someone like yourself, that is basically energy, the life force, like Star Wars stuff, right? Like the force that permeates all things through the universe. Is that right?
So we have an internal Qi, right? We have each individual has their Qi, and Qi can speak to a couple things. One, it is an energy, a life force that circulates. In Chinese medicine, when our Qi is balanced and it's circulating, good health, happiness, solid connection to self and others. When Qi gets blocked or deficient, again, according to traditional Chinese medicine theory, what happens? Difficulties with thinking, difficulties in our organ systems, disease, and profound and excessive negative emotions, which then feed. So we work at clearing and building our Qi every day, utilizing Qi Gong, self-care.
This is the foundational principles of just Chinese medicine. Is what I'm hearing. And that is amazing. So now, this is an ancient practice. This isn't something somebody came up with 20 years ago. What is the history of Qigong and this? Taoism may be a bigger talk. Since we're, I guess, focusing on this one modality, we'll keep it to that, because I know this thing could go on for hours. Right.
Okay, so think back 5,000 years plus. We have evidence in pieces of pottery where the symbol of Taiji, the yin-yang symbol, is positioned. We go back 3,000 years, and we have written text in China describing the role of exercises that now we label as Qigong. The other piece here is that I committed 25, 30 years ago to studying Taoist Qigong, to studying Taiji Chuan, one of the several internal martial art training approaches. There's other forms of Qigong then. There's South American and Central American Qigong. They have their own system of energy, which I think you know a lot about. Also, you have Qigong that I've studied and looked at a little bit that comes out of the traditional ancient African experience. So Qigong is found in every traditional Aboriginal community and people. And what I'm hoping to do with Emerging Gong, as well as my school, is to team up and share and be really clear and succinct. This is Taoist internal Gong. This is what this is based on.
So now, how many different schools of thought or types, you're saying you focused on the Taoist version, and there was a different version. How many possibilities are there that are out there?
Early on, when I was practicing traditional Taiji Chuan, which I was learning Qigong with my masters, this is going back like 1999, 1998, they commonly said, for every teacher, there's a different style of Qigong. Right. That being said, we can start to put into different, if you will, labels or different arenas Qigong. So there's shamanic Qigong, right? Which is very involved in a lot of ceremonies that Grunt Style Foundation supports.
That's right.
And endorses. There's Taoist Qigong, based on the teachings of Taoism, which goes back, that predates Buddhism, right? Predates Confucianism. There's Buddhist Qigong, right? Then there's spiritual. There's specific focused spiritual Qigong, martial Qigong, Qigong for medical, where it gets very intricate. You have to really understand and utilize a medical Qigong. What's best is to work with someone that's what they do, and they individually share what to do to support yourself with Qigong.
So are those types of medical energetic practitioners like cultivating and then moving the Qi to specific problem points to allow that to rectify the situation? Is that the idea?
I do that with people. As a healer for 38 years and having studied, I have the capacity to work one-on-one. And we call that external Qigong, where the practitioner, like myself, is connecting with the unified Qi field, connecting with heaven and earth, transmuting that with the support and with the partnership of the person we're working on to balance, clear, fortify, based on that person's healing intention.
Wow. So now is this a skill that just anyone can develop on their own to heal themselves and work with these types of energies this way? Or is that just something that's really like advanced?
I think that people that are born that have a skill set, that have inherent talent, okay, can develop and hone this type of abilities through life. But often those individuals, like myself, will learn a whole approach or system, right? And then integrate that. And then maybe later on learn a different system and integrate that. I'm lucky enough to have been early on in my career, going back to 1988, connecting with great healers in Chicago. We were on the forefront of addressing different, significant disease states, and was introduced to an individual, Ranjan Karmanute, who was a master energy worker within the context of chakra systems.
Right, okay.
Think Reiki, or think Hindu, or Vedic. So I had a chance to really learn that style and develop. And then I started to study Taoist Qigong in 95, 94, when I was looking for other aspects to really support Olympic athletes who I was teaming up with that were in the 96 Olympics in sailing, a passion of mine.
Oh, wow.
And
man of many talents.
yeah, so then studying, then I had the chance to study and start to learn energy work from the traditional Chinese medicine standpoint. And so I think that we build, and then it's through a period of one practicing on themselves.
Yeah.
But then, and I would say just in the last, I've been doing external Qigong work with folks, energy healing, for probably 20 years, 25 years, but just in the last year have things come to a level where it's just absolutely a sacred experience every time.
That's amazing, man. I dabbled in Qigong myself once upon a time. I couldn't tell you the specifics, definitives, but it was called Flowing Breeze, Swaying Willow. It was all about the circulation of Qi, and it was the first, probably the first real modality, alternative modalities or original modalities, I like to say, because these things are that old. It was one of the first ones I ever came into contact with, and I couldn't find a studio or anything like that. So I found this guy online, Sifu Anthony, at Flowing Breeze, Swaying Willow. And if you Google him, it was like an online class. I thought, but it didn't have anything better going on. And I was getting kind of desperate, to tell you the truth. I was in a dark place at that time. This is when I was first deciding, like, something's got to give. I got to take a step towards something here. But that was the first time I really think I plugged into something and found like peace like that. And that's the only way I know how to describe it, is like peace beyond peace. I'm just in this moment and I'm meditating while I'm doing these movements, and this calmness comes over, and it was just an incredible experience and very addictive very quickly. So that's a
Can I ask,
for me.
at this point, when you connected with Anthony, Master Anthony, and you were doing the breeze related willow Qigong, what was your experience of meditation at that point? Had you really gotten in and practiced meditation?
No. I had thought, I had a concept of what I thought meditation was supposed to be, which is just do nothing and clear your mind of all things, and just like, what a ridiculous practice this is. And that was kind of what my understanding was. And then, I would say discovering what meditation really is through that movement meditation. That's why I call it movement meditation. That's how I liken it. It's just, I unpacked so many things in my mind and just shifted perspectives just enough to where I think was helpful to me. And I attribute that to being able to enter into that altered state of consciousness in the
Right.
meditation to allow my monkey brain to talk to my higher self is kind of how I look at things. But I think that's what's going on.
Yeah. And your experience is so common. I'll have folks that come to me and want to start to practice Qigong and Tai Chi, and they'll say, I tried meditation, I can't do it, I failed at it, this and that. So and that 1 or 2 classes, they start to have that experience, which gives them the response that we know, that relaxation, that being in the present response. It's so healthful when people practice meditation, but because it's moving and it's standing or sitting and there's an active intention.
Yes.
That, I call it a geteway experience that many people could then step in and do a deeper meditation. So thank you for sharing your experience, because if you can't get around meditating, it just doesn't make sense, but you want the benefit of that, then starting Qigong and Tai Chi is a great method.
Oh yeah. And it's, I didn't stick with everyday practice of Qigong. I kept it up for a good while, but eventually life became life, and that became less for me. But what I have done is I've always maintained three different routines that when I find I'm in a situation of great anxiety, or I'm in other places that are quite intense, Qigong's what grounds me and pulls me back to earth, and it gets me through that moment. It can really calm me down, and I've been working on my fourfold breathing and integrating in with the rhythm of the Qigong. So I still play with it.
Great.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's a tool that you've used now for a couple years, and it helps you.
Yeah, definitely. Like. So what is going on with the other benefits? We're talking in terms of energetic stuff and all of that, and that sounds a little woo-woo to some people, but this isn't New Age philosophy here. This is going back to the actual medicine that the ancient peoples over in Asia, as they understood it. Who was or what does Qigong have to say, or the various schools have to say on who found this? How did it start? And what is it?
Well, let's back up a little bit. And as I answer this question about the benefits, we have to also talk about Tai Chi Chuan.
Okay.
A Taoist-based, a yin-yang-based Chinese internal martial art application. Because for the last 40 or 50 years, as Western Eastern research has looked at and tried to understand the mechanism and benefits of Qigong and Tai Chi, so often many of the studies, the really well-done randomized studies showing different benefits, and we'll go into different areas of benefit that'll make sense from a health and science standpoint. But often what was being labeled as Tai Chi exercise or Tai Chi programming actually was Qigong, right? Actually was Qigong, actually was different aspects. That being said, when you think about yoga or Pilates or Tai Chi and Qigong, then the number of well-developed, well-executed, and valid research studies is threefold over its sister systems. One of the from everything from the showing an improved pain and quality of life when people have moderate knee arthritis, great study out of Boston that's been repeated, to a study out of California going back 25, 30 years, which showed just doing a very simple form of Tai Chi, which is basically a moving Qigong in elderly. The people that did it now and the people that didn't do it till later, the group that did it showed a statistically significant improvement in their immune system, such that they had the protective aspect in their system that would keep them from getting shingles.
Isn't that amazing?
Right? So we've got immune system benefit, we've got benefit in movement and dealing with inflammation and arthritis. Let's talk about depression. There's at least 30 studies that I could, relay, and I'll just kind of condense them. But with people with anxiety, depression, ADHD, and bipolar, we've seen that doing Tai Chi and Qigong has assists them in many levels of improving their ability to function and quality of life, as well as to decrease the severity. Let's talk about cardiovascular, cardiopulmonary, as well as let's talk about the role of Tai Chi and Qigong with people with cancer. I have personal experiences sharing Tai Chi and Qigong for folks with cancer. And when you have lost hope and when you can't move a lot because you feel really bad, Tai Chi and Qigong can meet that person. It's gentle enough that then they can drop in, feel grounded, and especially if you can, with the cancer population that I've worked with, when we can come together in a small group, now there's the secondary group experience, socialization, and support.
So now relax. Relax around your heart. Let go of stuff that keeps your heart walled off, that keeps it from being open, that closes it.
And then finally, cardiovascular, cardiorespiratory. We know that when people do Tai Chi and Qigong and they loosen and they relax, that all of a sudden blood pressure changes. In fact, there's a few Qigong movements that are taught in China to specific, and Qigong massage techniques that are specifically taught to eradicate and normalize blood pressure. Okay. And then because you can start someone even with severe cardiovascular disease, be it a lung issue or a heart issue, because you can start them really simply sitting and then slowly progress them as they improve. It becomes something, not just a one thing, but something you can meet them with as they progress. Wow. So these are just some of the research-based benefits. From a Chinese medicine standpoint, I would say doing Qigong and Tai Chi is like connecting to the spirit around me and doing a very slow swimming dance, where instantly the internal nature and the external nature can become one. And what's possible when we feel that, when that occurs, when we become aware, right, as an individual human, that's a possibility. Yeah.
That's why that is such an amazing modality, because a lot of these things, these mindfulness practices and all of that, it's almost a ritual where you're going through a series of steps hoping for an outcome, but there's not necessarily a convincing, energetic experience where you can tactically feel, whatever it is that you're connecting with. So there's very few modalities that really shine in all of the areas, and I think Qigong is certainly one of those. And I also want to take the moment to foot stomp something you said when you were talking about working with cancer patients. Qigong and Tai Chi are super gentle, and literally anybody can do this. And when my mother has had a series of health problems over the years, and when I was into doing pretty regular practice with Qigong, I taught her a little bit of what I had learned. Nice. And this is a woman that didn't get around real good, so it's that gentle and relaxing enough to where she can see the benefit and actually perform it. I mean, this is literally a modality anybody can do. So, nobody has any reason to not make that effort on this. But and it's so much fun, and it is good for mental health. My brain gets going, and I can get into a spiral, and it's hard to break the spiral until you can somehow achieve that Zen, whatever practice you use to do that. And Qigong does that very well for me, and has been kind of a trusty tool, like I said, with the anxiety and things. So I know there's benefit in it for the mental health portion. Yeah. So
well, thanks for sharing your own personal experience of how Qigong has helped you. I'd like to share my experience.
Please. Why did you seek this out, or how did it hook you in so deeply? What's your story with that?
Well, I can talk about a spiritual, religious component of where I was in a crossroads. I could talk about the idea that I had given up fighting and a lot of competition as a teen and 20-year-old, and wanted to let go of those mindsets and looked for a martial art that would be gentler, because at that point in my life I was living with a lot of physical pain that was both from injuries, but also it was from mental health issues that were undiagnosed. As we know, when a person is depressed, when they have clinical depression, it also, especially in men, manifests as severe back pain, severe knee pain, severe shoulder pain. So that's an aspect. And then I would say to move on with the mental health, I didn't realize, but later in life, when I got a little bit of therapy, when things started to unravel and I just realized I wasn't functioning that well as I needed to take care of my family and myself and my community, I realized just how profound my childhood was and how much trauma I had as a kid, you know, and that combined with realizing that I had spent most of my life just really going back and forth in this in a manic depressive cycle, but always being able to hold things in so I could be functional. I basically reached out and found Tai Chi and Qi Gong to support me at that state of disease, at that state of not feeling good and really suffering. And it was the thing that I just knew that day in, day out in my 40s and my 50s, I enjoyed this, I needed to do it, and I went all in. And so Qigong and Tai Chi, doing these practices, these Taoist internal arts practices, they kept me alive, they kept me going, they kept me functional. And then when I got older, I did some talk therapy, I did some counseling, I did some deeper dive-in work. I worked with a medical team and got successfully kind of diagnosed and assessed. And now it took me to the next level. And now my work in Tai Chi and Qigong, sharing it with others and continuing to deepen my own practice, it just makes life really, really wonderful and peaceful for me.
For those of us that live with PTSD or other mental illnesses, really being excellent at neuroregulating is why some of us don't kill ourselves. So that's cool, right? It's a good thing.
Yeah, thank you.
There's that peace again.
Yeah. So, and that's available to everybody.
Yeah, and that's an amazing. There's literally the only thing you need to have to do Qigong or Tai Chi is yourself.
Right.
You know,
and
it's amazing.
And hopefully a caring, good authority or teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I think that's important, especially if one's going to practice Tai Chi Chuan. You have to have a teacher that understands it's going to teach you properly and effectively from the beginning. There's a saying that if you learn the right way in the beginning, then you don't have to unlearn things that aren't correct to relearn. And so a good teacher, I was lucky enough to drop in and have not just good teachers, but amazing, deep, authentic teachers. So like any lineage-based, I just appreciate my teachers so much, and they know that. I'm always letting them know that.
Yeah, well, I think you make them proud, man. Just the way you carry yourself, how you conduct your business. I've been privileged to see that a few times, and it's I recognize when I see a cut above. So you do it well, man. So if somebody's out there, they're like, yeah, this sounds amazing. You know, how do I get started? What would you tell them to do? Where do they go? How do people get involved in this?
Well, fortunately, over the last 10 or 15 years, there's so many great Tai Chi and Qigong teachers that are working out of community centers, that are working out of small studios. They might even just be an older person that's in a park a lot. And so just reaching out and connecting and joining a class is great. If you're going to join a class, there's just a few things you might want to ask the person. How long have you been practicing and teaching? Who's your teacher? Right? What style do you teach? If a person can just answer those questions, 10 years, 5 years certified as an instructor, my lineage is this and this and that, and I teach this form, you're in a good place. If they say something like, well, I took a weekend course because I used to be an aerobics instructor, and I just kind of have learned different things through the years. I've just kind of incorporated it. I teach a little this, teach a little that. And I don't know what form I teach. Probably not a good teacher to start out with. No judgment, but I'm just sharing what would be the best. So finding the good teacher is number one. Number two, before COVID, but definitely since COVID and after, the number of amazing teachers that you can connect with virtually over the internet is unbelievable. I really enjoy and appreciate the work of Dr. Yang out of New York. We share a similar lineage. He was an indoor student of Grandmaster Fong. You can just basically put Dr. Yang, PhD, Tai Chi, and you'll come up. Any of his work is great online that you can tap into. Who else? There's a wonderful teacher that I like locally, Sifu Herb Perrin. So anyone that is local, I would definitely invite them. He's one of my masters. But there's another beautiful teacher that I've been really interested in and studied a little bit virtually, Susie Lee. And she's Asian, and she really speaks to and teaches a form of Qigong that she's learned and developed that really speaks to women, and women that are attempting to heal and step into their power. And I think it's a White Lotus Qigong. But I got to tell you, as a guy, when I studied some of her work, it was just as profound for me. Another person would be Ken Cohen, a grandmaster, internationally known, still around, older, but Ken Cohen, who wrote The Way of Qigong. So there's some great teachers you can connect with that way.
What makes these lineages different? Like we were saying, like the White Lotus version, and I was talking about the name of the group that I had learned from, and what is different?
Right. Well, it comes down to lineage is who's your teacher, and what system did they teach you, and who did they learn the system from, their teacher, and who was their teacher's teacher. So lineage speaks to where you can go back 3 and 4 and 8 and 18 and 19 generations and know that what you're learning has been handed down, has been protected and coveted and handed down to meet you, for you to learn. And it's important to say that lineage isn't everything, but understanding one's lineage and appreciating, because I tap into that ancestral understanding, that ancestral mastery. When I'm working with someone one-on-one, I can actually understand and appreciate my teacher's teacher and their teacher's teacher and their teacher's teacher, having understand what they did and bring it into the present.
So it's like getting an authentic, if you're wanting a certain meal, this meal is authentic back however long,
right,
unchanged. And if that's the flavor you're looking for, right, on that dish, this is what it's going to be. In a right, different school, maybe also super awesome and have all their super cool things, but it's not a pasta dish, it's a soup, or right, something like that. Right.
Right. That's a great analogy.
Okay, I'm just trying to piece all that
together. Yeah.
What is all the actual differences between this to that? So that's a really interesting way of looking at it. I want to also ask you about something you said earlier too, when you're talking about men having issues that manifest in back pain and knee pain and shoulder pain. Like, could you explain what the thinking is there to make that kind of an attribution, right? So, how does that work?
Okay, well, we know that in Western medicine, when we evaluate people that are diagnosed with depression or anxiety, a lot of times they'll discuss and they'll share that they have somatic pain, body pain, right? And when we evaluate them, we can't come up with a reason why a person has body pain, has musculoskeletal or neurological pain. Then the idea is that the pain's coming from a hypersensitization of their nervous system, so that small movements become very painful, and that heightened state happens when people are in high levels of stress, and we know that high levels of stress affect organ movement, organ communication, the neuroendocrine system, hormones. So there's a lot of mechanisms, but that would be the way that physical pain can manifest out of psychological or emotional issues. Did you know that the number one variable for Western men who commit suicide, what's the most common thing they have in common? The most numerous issue they have in common is low back pain, chronic pain. So we know that chronic pain manifests and becomes very disabling, and then actually adds to that, getting in that really low state. Yeah. Did I answer your question somewhat?
Yeah, you did. I'm just trying to kind of paint a window to kind of understand, like, how does this energy stuff going to help with a physical problem?
Right.
Well, it's because the physical problem is actually from some energy stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was in my mid-30s when I started practice. I reached out and found a traditional Tai Chi Chuan school run by my dear Sifu, J. Justin Meehan, considered to be the person who brought over Chin-style Tai Chi Chuan, the fighting application of Tai Chi Chuan, to America. I started because I'd gone from being a high-level athlete, both in surfing, windsurfing, extreme sports, as well as running, biking, triathlons, to literally not being able to run half a mile and having such severe pain in my back and my legs that I was disabled. I was still trying to work and be a young dad. And when I started Tai Chi and Qi Gong, within like 3 months, the symptoms improved 80%. I got back to running.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was my experience. And 3 months is a long time of practicing every day, but it's not a long time. And jump in, start a Qigong practice, start a Tai Chi practice, and stick with it. Even if you're just going to class once a week and practice a little bit on your own, and in 7, 8 months, a year, then you can really start to experience the benefits. You can experience benefit. I often teach beginner courses with at least an 8-week commitment, an 8 to 10-week commitment from people, because I know that if they'll stick with me, if they'll practice when they're there, if they'll show up, if they'll do a little bit of programming, 10, 15 minutes a day, in 8 weeks they'll have an outcome. Maybe it's better sleep, maybe it's emotionally improvement, maybe it's their whatever pain they have has decreased. Oh, yeah.
Well, I was telling you a little bit earlier about I consider some of those little routines to be little tools of mine that I use when necessary. I'm sure there are some folks watching today that are curious enough to, want to investigate it. And if I were to put myself in that person's shoes, one of the things I would be thinking of is there one of these little routines that can help me, as that go-to that I can learn in very short term. I'm not going to have to spend a lot of time, or could you offer maybe even a demonstration or something that fits that bill?
I'd love to. Let me think about. So what if we just talk about Qigong?
Sure.
Right? Because there's many exercises I'd like to share that come out of the Tai Chi Chuan system. But that gets a little bit more complex in choreography. So within Qigong, we talk about 3 energy centers: an upper energy center, a middle energy center, and then a lower energy center. The lower energy center, and again, the Chinese term for that is Dantian. Elixir field is actually the elixir field. The lower elixir field is the main energy storage tank. So a type of Qigong, a technique of Qigong that I teach almost every student is what we call Dantian breathing. When we breathe in, right, we breathe in air, and that nourishes, that brings us oxygen. We breathe out, that clears our system. But as we're doing rhythmic breathing, we can put our mind intention to open and close, receive energy, and then release energy as we're doing the breath. So we're connecting breath and energetic flow, energetic movement. So often I have people that are brand new, especially my healthcare patients as a physical therapist. I'll have them start sitting and just connect with their lower dantian, with their mind, imagine it, and then think about expanding their lower dantian out beyond themselves, and then absorbing and contracting their dantian.
And now you're going to bring your heart energy back, and you're going to as you're doing that, you're bringing in fresh energy. We call this open and closing, expanding and absorbing at the middle dantian.
And just this open and close idea, this expansion and contraction, this release of the energy in one's dantian and then the absorption back in. Really, it speaks to when we focus out, when we send love outwardly, right? And then we want to balance that by bringing energy or bringing love in back to us. So let's practice it right now.
Sure,
Okay.
love to see it.
So, I'm going to can I take this off, or you want to keep it on?
No, we can take it off.
Because you can still hear me here,
Yeah,
right?
Definitely still hear you.
All right, great. So, sitting, I'm going to simply put my feet flat on the ground so I'm grounded. My feet are going to be a little bit in front of my knee. So I've got an open position. I'm going to find what feels natural and balanced in my pelvis, drop my shoulders, lift my head, and start to notice breath. And just breathe naturally. Doesn't matter mouth or nose. But maybe bring your mind intention to noticing your breath in your belly. Diaphragmatic breathing or Wuji breathing. So I'm going to start with that. Dropping into my mind, into my belly. When we take our mind intention and look at our breath, what we're not doing is having the monkey mind, be run by the monkey mind. It might still be happening, but it's flowing through. So we start with just this simple, what we call sitting breath meditation for a minute. And then we bring our awareness to the idea that there's this main energy storage tank, this lower dantian, kind of located in the center of our belly, our lumbopelvic area, about 2 fingers width below the belly button. So taking our hands, right, the palm on each hand, and focusing and pointing those to our lower energy center. I'm going to breathe in. And as I breathe out, I use my mind intention to expand. Visualize expanding this energy center all the way out. Extending all the way out through the unified chi field to the ends of the universe. And then as I breathe in air, I'm gonna absorb and contract and bring energy back into the lower dantian. As I breathe out, expand. Breathe in, absorb. Breathe out, open and release anything that doesn't serve you in your energy field. Close and contract. Bring in energy from the environment that's going to optimize your own vibrational frequency. And you might do this 9 times. Breathe out, expand. Breathe in, absorb. As I'm doing this, I set the tone of smiling eye energy. The energy, we haven't seen each other in 3 years, and we see each other on the street. Well, your eyes perk up and you have this certain emotion, this certain feeling, right? Mm-hmm. So, but we see a baby, right? And we have that same sense of awe and beauty and wonder and amazement and love. How many times in your life have you experienced smiling eye energy that came from you and sent it to you? Had that for yourself. When we do Qigong, this is the mindset. And so as I'm expanding and breathing out, smiling eye energy, I'm marveling, I'm enjoying, I'm feeling a sense of discovery and mystery and beauty and compassion.
But maybe the action is a commitment to work on myself more, to self-cultivate for a bit, to send that smiling energy, the smiling eye energy. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. I love you. Remember when we were kids in the hill? Yeah.
The Italian accent.
Yes. Mamma mia.
So now we're working at aligning and putting a certain vibrational, emotional state while we practice. And this is a full practice. So that's it.
Just
That's
as
just
simple
one
as
little
that.
exercise, as simple as can be, but mind intention, right? I focus, mind intention makes the exercise better, and also is one of the active ingredients when you do Qigong and you're putting your mind intention, you're focusing. That's an active ingredient that makes it helpful.
Right.
Right? Okay.
So, man, I am always impressed with the way you teach. You're a fantastic teacher, and we've been lucky enough to work with you a few times on some of our initiatives. Primarily with the Grunt Style Foundation integration event that we held this past September, and we're proud to announce that we're going to be doing it again this September on the second weekend up at Quiver River
Great.
State Park up near Troy, Missouri, just north of St. Louis, about 30 minutes or so. And we're going to get the band back together of what we had there last year, as many of you folks as we can bring back, and hopefully we'll see some new faces out there as well. But you introduced an awful lot of people. And this isn't just a veteran-only event. This is open to
Right.
the public. So we're of course primarily focused on our veterans and our first responder community. But everybody is certainly welcome, and it was a good time. How was what was your takeaway from the integration event?
My take was amazing venue, very comfortable. The actual nature of the Quiver River is absolute.
It's
for Missouri.
it's
I mean,
beautiful.
it's just absolute. And to be so close to St. Louis and other areas was great. The second would be the heart mind of your organization and your commitment to introducing and offering alternative modalities to support overall health, especially within the space of serious health and people focused on growth. The individuals that were attracted based on your intention and mission really made the class, really made the weekend, I thought. And I guess the third piece would be, on me personally, I met so many great practitioners. I got to experience so many modalities that I had never experienced, didn't know anything about. And now I've practiced multiple times with Scott, who is one of the practitioners that you've been working with, and his work doing hypnosis, quantum hypnosis, has been profound in my own healing. I continue to do meditation, and that I learned from one of the other practitioners. Finally, I have stepped in and started to practice and have the experience of practicing combo. And that, again, has been tremendously supportive for me. So here I was a practitioner, a facilitator, a teacher, and yet I really felt supported and served as a recipient.
There was
and I can't wait till this year, being an inaugural first year or something, and just pulling it together. And this year, I can't even imagine how amazing
that was our
be.
pilot, man. That was our first run out the gate with that guy. So it was a lot of work. We put a lot of thought into it, but it was the practitioners that we shoot for the top shelf across all the fields. We're not. And that's not to disparage anybody else that's a practitioner of any of these modalities. We want to connect as many people as possible to all of them, and hopefully grow some new practitioners, right? But we pride ourselves on the people that we put in front of people under our brand are going to be the best. And boy, we hit that in spades this last year for that initial inaugural outing. But yeah, man, you're right. It's the energy of that place was crazy. It was crazy off the hook. And that was the participants. We had such a good mix. We had people coming from all over the country for that thing. And, we had some pretty big name draws that were bringing some people in, but we also had people that were coming in just because it was so novel. It was like, I think in one of the review tapes from one of the interviews that David had caught, going around talking to the practitioners, and one of my teachers and a great friend, Jason Fellows. He had made the comment about, just how wild it was. This is a space, I think he said it like traditionally reserved for the hippies. And here you've got all these veterans and first responder guys, and it's just out there getting weird in the woods with some things that you look at it, and on the outside you kind of laugh at. So, it's touchy-feely stuff, nonsense, and then you experience it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is that thing I've always wanting but don't know how to get.
Right.
So we're pretty proud of that one, and we're looking forward to seeing you again.
You should be.
In September, back out in Old Quiver River. So more information for those folks at home to check in on our social media and our website for information as we release it. Sign up for our newsletter too, so we put it out there.
Last year, when I was invited as a volunteer to come out, I really just had the intention to come and serve. And when people came to my different programs, the early morning or the more workshop-focused programs, I just tried to give them a taste of Tai Chi and Qi Gong and meditation, so on and so forth. This year, what I hoped, because of what I've learned and what I've researched, looking at all the work being done with veterans and people with other issues over the last year, is I want to offer a specific workshop that's simply a form of Qigong with the intent, with giving people and its specific intention of this class. And then I want to give another class that really steps into sharing traditional Chin style Tai Chi Chuan, which is a pretty badass martial art training approach that improves one's abilities to be both offensive and defensive from locks and takedowns.
Yeah, that's getting weird. I like it.
So I want to have different classes that might speak to different people there.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned over the last year and what I've gleaned from looking at all the whole health information on using Tai Chi and Qigong is there's not one form or one type that's going to serve everybody. And the key is to lock in and give people something out of this huge approach, this huge, vast ocean of traditional Taoist arts that'll work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my goal for this year.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that sounds great. I'm always intrigued to hear the new ideas and ways that you have come up with to focus on something or showcase something. And, one that we've been talking about that you brought up a few months back about working with our mutual friend, Dr. Scott, who does some pretty radical, cool stuff. And we'll be filming a podcast with him shortly after we wrap this guy. And but he works in hypnotism, and it's amazing, fascinating work. And I understand you saw something special in the modality that Dr. Scott was working with, and how that would be complementary with what you and your folks are offering. Could you tell us what that might be?
So after the integration, I wrote down 3 or 4 people I was really impressed with that live locally, and I wanted to follow up with them and just learn more and whatnot. Scott and I was really impressed with his work. I was really moved. So I actually started, I received his one-on-one hypnosis work, and it hit me right, and it was right what I needed at the time, and it really deepened my understanding of both myself and my relationship to, if all things, the universe, right? And so out of that, we started a conversation like, hey, let's do a personal development workshop experience for people where we're combining Qigong and his alpha brainwave visualization work that he does as a group. And we've done it a couple times, and people really love it because we start with Qigong, and that gets people to center and let go of their monkey mind and relax.
You're prepping the battlefield big time for Scott to come in and take him to Pluto.
Right. Yeah. And there you go. You just said it. Pluto and beyond.
Yeah, an amazing modality. Well, I definitely want to do that, man. Let's put that together. I want to host that over at the Foundation headquarters building, and we'll get the big venue and try to get as many people as we can to come join us. What's something like that take to run? Is that like a 4-hour program, or is it an all-day thing?
I think a 4-hour program where people are committed to getting there a little early and setting up themselves, and then maybe plan on spending a little bit of time after the class just connecting and socializing. But the actual programming comes in at right about 3.5 hours to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a commitment for your afternoon.
Yeah,
right.
Let's do it. Let's make that happen. I think that's good. Stay tuned, everybody.
Right.
Follow along for more information on this new class that you heard about here first. So, well, Shawn, my brother, Qi Gong Shawn, everybody, welcome to our show, and thanks for being here to spread your wisdom and hopefully shine a light on a path that might lead somebody to some true peace and healing. I can't thank you enough and look forward to working with you in the future. Do you have any final words for our audience before we depart?
Yes. When practicing Taoist martial arts for healing, for health, one intention is called Song Jin Zurin, and it basically translates as relax into a calmful state in a natural way. So that's a concept that if you just remember when you're up against it, how can I relax myself into a space of calm in a way that's natural? And I'll leave it that, hoping that everyone who hears this and all people that are looking to improve themselves can find, if not Qigong, some way to achieve Song Jin Zurin.
All right. Well said, brother. Where can people find you if they want to connect?
Really easy. If you look up my name, Shawn Tucker, physical therapist, you're going to find multiple ways to contact me. My cell phone is 314.
Do you really want to put that out to the internet?
314-495-2209.
You're going to get so many weird phone calls.
And then just my website coming up is emerginggong.com.
All right. All right, brother. emerginggong.com.
Yeah.
Again, Shawn Tucker, everybody. Thanks again, my friend. If you would be so kind as to like this video, subscribe wherever you found this episode on whichever platform, and follow us along on our social media. You can find us on X at GruntStyleFDN. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at GruntStyle Foundation, and over on TikTok at GruntStyle_Foundation. It's a lot to keep up with, folks. So we're going to put all the links and the information you got to get a hold of Shawn in the show notes here, wherever you found this video. And if you feel so inclined to want to support the work of the GruntStyle Foundation does on the daily, check us out over at gruntstylefoundation.org. Look for that donate button. We appreciate and will put to good use any help that you can give us. And we would kindly ask you to consider becoming a recurring donor, because it takes money to make the wheels go around in the nonprofit world, but that's what it is. And we would gratefully receive any support that you see fit to offer. So until then, next time, everybody, just be kind, lead with some compassion, and, get some, guys. Take care. The Grunt Style Foundation continues fighting for those who have served. Support our mission at gruntstylefoundation.org/donate. Stay strong, stay vigilant, and keep moving forward with purpose.